Welcome to Grow Nebraska's October 3rd Thursday training on e-commerce and mCommerce and selling and shipping in new ways. I'm Katie Obradovich with Grow Nebraska, and part of my job is to help facilitate training opportunities like these. For those of you who don't know, Grow Nebraska is a nonprofit focused on helping you to make a sustainable living anywhere in Nebraska. We do this through promotion, market access, and educational opportunities like this. If you have any questions about membership with Grow Nebraska, we'll be sending out contact information after the call. Third Thursday trainings wouldn't be possible without the help from our wonderful sponsors, and this month's training is sponsored by Grow Nebraska, FedEx, and funds provided by the Local Foods Promotion Program of the Agricultural Marketing Service, U.S. Department of Agriculture. We want to say thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors. And now, the reason we're all here, Christopher Steel, sales executive with FedEx Services, is here today to talk to us about e-commerce and mCommerce and how this relates to the growth of your business in our current economy. So we're thrilled to have him here with us today. Christopher, we'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Katie. What an honor to be able to speak to you guys today. A couple months ago, Janet proposed that I do a topic, and so I was totally thrilled to be able to do this. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, good. My name is Christopher Steele. I am at FedEx. I'm a sales executive. A little bit about me first. Been in the logistics industry for about 5 years. Been in sales over 25 years. I was a business owner for 13 years before coming into the logistics industry and some other industries. What I'll do is, before I begin, I'll go ahead and give y'all my email address. So if y'all have any questions after I conclude, feel free to contact me. My email is the letter J dot STEEL at FedEx, FEDEX.com. And what I wanted to speak about today is, I titled it, Do You Manage Your Business as Though It Is the Year 2000 or the Year 2016? A lot of things have changed. I was very fortunate and had a business for 13 years. I was lucky that it was the pre-internet and technology, before the technology boom. It was right on the cusp. I started in the late 80s and concluded my business in the early 2000s. So in the beginnings, it was you go to a phone book, you look up my company, or in the yellow pages. I don't know how many of you remember that, but you could go to the yellow pages and look it up, or you did a billboard, or you ran an ad in the newspaper. That is definitely not the case in 2016. The thing that has really come to the forefront in technology is e-commerce. I'm sure you've all heard this phrase or this word, but I'll just explain what it is, because sometimes it can be very ambiguous. E-commerce, or electronic commerce, is the process of buying and selling goods, products, and services over electronic systems, such as the internet. It also includes the telephone and email. mCommerce, which is something I'm going to speak on a little bit later, it is, or mobile commerce, is the process of buying and selling products and services through wireless handheld devices such as cell phones. Nowadays, the thought of living without e-commerce seems really unfathomable. It's complicated and an inconvenience to many. I know it wasn't only until a few decades ago that the idea of e-commerce had even appeared. Recently, I had sold my home and was moving to a new home, so I had to stay with a friend who's like a mom. And for 3 weeks, she didn't have internet, and I never realized until then just how much I depended upon not just my internet, but on my devices at home. I found myself going to searching for places to connect to the internet, whether it be Starbucks or other restaurants. E-commerce is the largest driving force in the global economy, and it's projected that within the next 2 years, global e-commerce sales are expected to reach $1 trillion. The Census Bureau of the Department of Commerce announced that the estimate of U.S. retail e-commerce sales for the second quarter of 2016 was $97.3 billion. It increased 4.5% from that first quarter of 2016. So, all the businesses and all of my accounts that I have, well, I won't say all, I would say the majority of the accounts that I service in the Nebraska area do have some sort of website. And that seems to be imperative today. As I mentioned first beginning, there were only limited resources in the 80s and before, well, really the mid-90s and before, how you could advertise, word of mouth, yellow pages, billboards, and running an ad in the paper. Now you can advertise in multi-levels. With online sales growing more than about 3 times faster than traditional brick-and-mortar sales, online shopping has revolutionized both retail shopping and global network delivery. Of the people that are on this call, do all of you have, well, let me ask it this way. Is there anyone that just has an online business that's on this call? Okay, I'll take that as no. With a global marketplace, e-commerce will continue to be the force that will drive economic growth in the future. Does anyone on this call not have a website?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, then I have a lot of great information today, but specifically for you, I have some great information as well. For those of you who do have websites, what I would like for you today sometime is, because it may have been a while since you visited your website, is just to Google yourself, just as a customer would, and go onto your website and really look at it through the eyes of a consumer. What does your website say to you? Does it thrill you? Does it thrill your customer? Because if it doesn't thrill your customer, it shouldn't thrill you. Is your contact information easy to find? Does it answer questions? Do you have a frequently asked questions page or tab? Is it easy to order from? Do any of you have a website where your consumers cannot order from your website?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then I would pose the question to you, why? That's a goal of mine.
Haven't really wanted to go to the expense of it, but I think it's going to be one of the things I have to do.
Absolutely. It will help grow your business. You are potentially losing out on customers by not having that functionality on your website. As a consumer myself, and I'm going to share a lot more information with you about how the consumer market is today. But speaking from the other side of the coin myself, when I'm looking at something, I want to go to that website. I'll pick the top one that comes up. I'll look at it. I've even started ordering products before. If it's too difficult, I will back out of it. I will go to the second site that comes up. So you want to make it as easy, customer-friendly for your prospective customers as you can. Is your shipping cost-effective? That's where FedEx can partner up with you to see what we can do to give you more effective shipping. Can we save you money? That was another reason I gave you my contact information. If you're not yet a customer with us, then by all means, send me an email and we can talk offline and see what we can do for you. Because that's another thing. When I, as a consumer, go shopping online, and I do it a lot, I want to say, well, okay, why am I going to pay $5 in shipping with this customer, but with this business, but this business I can get it for free? Well, I'm going to go with the other business, depending on how quickly I can get the product as well. So there's a lot of things that customers look at. How long does your page take to load? Do any of you know if your website pages take a long time to load, or has it been that long since you have reviewed it? That's a challenge that I present to you today when you're pulling your web page up as a consumer. I would also urge you to look at your business model. Do you need a brick and mortar location? My business ran very smoothly because I was from a small town at the time, and people knew my last name. I didn't need a brick and mortar store. I never had one, and my business did very well. So that's something to think about. Is that something you can get rid of? Any questions on this piece so far, the e-commerce side of it, about your websites and everything?
I don't have any questions, but I'm very interested in everything that you've discussed so far.
Well, and I think for someone that doesn't have a website, all of this is going to be extremely important to you because I am glad that I had my business at the time that I did, because honestly, I think I would have been a little lost. But the flip side of that is that because the internet is what it is today, there is such a wealth of information and opportunity, such as, oh, I need to find a web builder, or I need to find a tech person to service my website, or an internet host. They're out there. So that just is a little bit of homework for you. But I think you would eventually see the cost of time that you put into it come to fruition with having a website.
Okay.
Which brings me to another point, our mCommerce. How many of you had heard, was there anyone that had not heard about mCommerce or mobile commerce before this presentation? Anyone? So you'd all heard about mCommerce? Good. Just to kind of recap on the mCommerce piece, it is a process of buying and selling products and services through wireless handheld devices, such as cell phones, obviously. Smartphones are a rapidly growing share of online shopping. They're growing by more than 60% in the last year. The most recent estimates from note that mobile transactions will reach 54% of online annual sales by 2018. That is a staggering $293 billion. B as in boy. $293 billion just from cell phone transactions. Isn't that amazing? mCommerce is also gaining attention in stores as well. A Google consumer survey found that 40% of respondents would be likely to use their smartphones to pay in stores actually last year in the 2015 holiday season and this season as well. The next generation of shoppers has been using smartphones since kindergarten. If that's not something that makes you feel old if you're my age, boy, that sure does. I wouldn't be surprised to see mobile as a major driver of both online and store commerce really within a few years. A friend of mine, her grandson, Noah, he's 6. He has been using his dad's cell phone, playing on it for 2 or 3 years. Those of you who have children that have grandchildren, you know this. You see them, and they can just figure out this device very, very easily. What do do you think about this, about the e-commerce and how it's up and coming? Anyone?
I think it's a good opportunity to reach new people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Across all platforms. In fact, there's some new phrases that's been coined called micro moments or showrooming. How many of you, I believe all of you said that you have a brick and mortar store. Is that correct? Where your customers come in? Is that correct?
No, I don't. I usually sell mine in wholesale and at farmers markets.
Okay, so you have wholesale. The other folks on the phone, showrooms, is that correct?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do we have some people that do have showrooms?
Yes.
Okay. For those of you who don't, how do you do your sales? The one
just
lady.
by going to different stores, cold calling, and then the second way is I go to farmers markets.
Okay, so cold calling. The lady that had said that she doesn't have a showroom, how do you sell your products?
Through Facebook, word of mouth, and then I sell wholesale to stores.
Okay, so Facebook, word of mouth. Okay. So you are using the internet, Facebook. Do you think that you could open your business up a little bit more if you had something else besides Facebook?
Oh yeah, I have a website as well.
Okay, good. Those of you who have the showroom, what now that they're doing is micro moments. This is actually where folks will turn to the nearest device to learn something, do something, watch something, or buy something. These micro moments are increasingly the new battleground for consumers' hearts, minds, and dollars. Furthermore, consumer expectations are higher than ever during these moments. They expect things right and right away. For businesses, this means you have to win the micro moment to succeed. Micro moments research found that 82% of smartphone users turn to their device to help them make a product decision. It's also called showrooming. It's searching via your phone for a place to buy products online at a cheaper price. It's been a buzzword lately. They found that consumers who use their mobile devices while in the store, get this, everyone, is actually 27% more likely to convert. I do that myself. Just the other day, I went into a Best Buy electronics store. I was looking at a product, and I thought, wow, that seems like a pretty good price. But I happened to think I had my cell phone in my back pocket, so I pulled it out, and I Googled it. Well, in that micro moment, guess what? It didn't convert me because I found the product $20 cheaper at another store. But I've also been in a store where, yesterday I was looking for another product, and I didn't know much about the product. I thought it was a reasonable price, but I thought, well, maybe I can find it somewhere else. So I Googled. I went to the Home Depot and Lowe's website under the shopping thing, and they didn't have it for any cheaper. So in that moment, I purchased that product. And so, to increase your sales by 27%, that's pretty big. Versus before, where customers go, well, I'll just think about it. I'll do more shopping. I'll go from store to store and find out. So mobile is giving users the confidence to make more informed purchases, just as through the examples that I just gave you. Whether it's searching for the best running shoes or checking tomorrow's weather, each mobile touch point is an opportunity to inspire and influence your customers. And as customers' decisions are happening faster than ever, brands will have to adapt with the right content, product, and purchasing options to stay in step. And that's the key here today, is really about adaptability. Are you adapting to the world? Are you adapting to your market in Nebraska? I think it's wonderful. What is your name? The guy, the gentleman with the that does not have a website?
Norman Hanley.
Norman, I think it's terrific that you're on this, because you have to be open to growing your business and looking for other ways. Because let's get real, you're in business to make money, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, we're not in the business to go, well, I'm just going to open up this store, and, if it doesn't make business, well, I'm still happy, unless you're independently wealthy and it's just something to keep your time, which I would almost bet that no one on this call or most people in business are not. So it's, you've got to adapt in the world market now, and it really is becoming a world market. I help my customers every day grow their business, especially in Nebraska. You guys are so close to Canada. There's no reason not to cross over into that international market. And y'all are lucky. Y'all can cross over with ground or air delivery being right there at Canada. Many businesses are missing how critical mobile is to omni-channel shopping, which basically is a multi-channel approach to sales that seeks to provide the customer with a seamless shopping experience, whether the customer is shopping online from a desktop or a mobile device, by telephone or in a brick-and-mortar store. An eMarketer study found that 72% of shoppers use smartphones to research, but only 23% use them to buy. Digital is the influence channel, as shoppers use phones to decide what and where they will buy. Businesses will win or lose on digital, not at the storefront. And that's huge. One of my favorite examples is a family-run Italian furniture company called Berto. They started in the 1970s. Talk about, you talk about having an open mind. When this company decided to go digital, it ran Google ads, it started a YouTube channel, it started a blog. The result is that the company grew fivefold and now sells furniture to customers around the world. We only see these stories multiply, especially with the promise of mobile bringing so many more people around the world online. The big question businesses are trying to answer right now is how to make all of their customer touch points across the web, mobile web, in-app, and in-store work together. And that will get into those of you who have your website. Computer coding. I hope that all of you have some sort of tech person that you know. If you're a small business, you can't afford to have an on-site tech person all the time. But I tell you what, you can find maybe someone at a local college that has their degree or getting their degree in technology that will be more than happy to assist you. There's, I'm sure, people in your current city across Nebraska that does it part-time that can help you with your web. And what they can do is help you with coding, because you may or may not realize this, is that it's the computer coding that makes all your websites look the same across various platforms, whether it's Mac, Windows, laptops, tablets, desktop, or phones. For example, when you have perhaps used your bank on your laptop or your desktop, when you go to your phone, you expect it to look very similar, if not identical. That's what keeps your customers coming back, because they recognize that if a customer has to learn how to use 3 different websites or sites that look different, they're probably going to stay with you. So that's something very important to talk to your tech or your web person about. Now, e-commerce and mCommerce is in the early stages of becoming contextual commerce. Contextual commerce is potentially the game-changing idea that merchants can seamlessly implement purchasing opportunities into everyday activities and natural environments. In other words, people can buy anything, anytime, anywhere with the click of a button or even just their voice. Does any of that sound familiar to everyone? I think we're already there.
Yeah.
The consumer will make a purchase in whatever situation she is in when she realizes the need for that purchase. If she is on a desktop computer at work, or on an iPad on the couch at home, or an iPhone as she rides in the car. And hopefully you're not doing that in the car, okay? I just had to add my disclaimer because I don't want anyone to think I am condoning that, because I don't want you guys to go out there and wreck and all this kind of stuff. That said, the odds of the consumer completing that purchase in a given context is dependent upon whether the retailer can, in that context, assure the customer that she's getting the best price, assure the customer she can get it delivered when she wants it, assure the customer she will receive a quality product, and assure the customer the product fits her needs. Has anybody ever heard of that little company called Amazon? I think all of us have. A lot of times they will win out my purchases as a consumer because they answer all of that. I know I'm getting the best price because I've researched it. I can get it delivered when I want it. They assure me that I'll receive a quality product, because if it's not, well, guess what? They have a return policy. There's a website that I use right now. I use it basically for ideas, because anytime you go to order on it, it will say delivery in 3 to 4 weeks, no returns. Well, I'm not going to order from that website when I can order from Amazon, and they've got a return policy. So they assure me that I'm getting a quality product, and they assure me that the product fits my needs because I found it. All of this combined brings about the rise of contextual commerce. The world is not getting smaller. It may seem like it, but it's still a global community. Our founder, Fred Smith, has spoken about global expansion. As a matter of fact, on May 25th of this year, FedEx and TNT jointly announced that FedEx has acquired TNT. It's a $4.4 billion acquisition, which combines the strengths of companies. So now we're the world's largest air express network, and we're an unparalleled European road network. So what does that mean to you? It means to you that you can get those products to those customers globally. And going back to the Amazon example, the consumers can get it delivered when they want it, especially with the full range of our FedEx products. So the future often arrives in the form of a choice. And I think, Norman, I'm not picking on you. You just gave me your name and you've been talking the most. I think you're at that threshold of the choice. One either makes a bold commitment to evolve, or you will be swept away by the forces of change.
I agree with you.
Yes. And that example, I love all of my customers, but I have one customer that comes to mind. I won't give you their name. They're in, of course, Nebraska. But this customer spent a lengthy time telling me one day how they're looking at a computer that their dad purchased in 1988 or 89. So this customer has no computer. Their fax machine has dust all over it. And then they were wondering why they're not getting orders. Well, the orders is word of mouth, which nothing wrong with that if that is what you want to do. But if you're wanting to increase your business, or if your business is steadily declining, then you've got to be able to adapt, because you will be swept away. I mean, the internet, e-commerce, mCommerce, it is grabbing the world and saying to businesses, you're going to lose either a lot or we're going to just wash you away. And it's kind of sad when you've got very small mom and pop companies that have not caught on to, maybe I need to at least have a Facebook page or buy a computer. That's disheartening, but it's the truth. We were slammed by the Great Recession. A Wisconsin shoe company, manufacturing company, put its best foot forward, no pun intended, to reinvent itself. Now, it was already doing good business. They had a global vision, though. They shipped 900 pairs of shoes a day, so by any standard, that's doing really well. That was in 2009. The company is Allen Edmonds. You may have heard of them. Some of their shoes have been worn by 4 U.S. presidents. So they now upped that to more than 3,500 packages in one day. Their brand has been basically what they did, they turned Made in America into a global fashion statement, and it projects authenticity and quality. And they're very popular, believe it or not, in China. They've also got 3 new retail stores. So how'd they do it? They heeded a simple call to action: connect. And that's what I'm talking about here today, everyone. Connect. We can have all these new words and fancy words, but it all comes down to connect. That company connected with men's fashion trends. It connected with quality sources of leather around the world, and thanks to e-commerce, it connected with global demand. The result has been a sharp rise in their revenue, job growth, and civic pride in the town of Port Washington, Wisconsin. So that's one of many, many examples. That's one of the exciting things I get to see with my customers, how they grow. I'm like a partner with them. I'm a resource to our customers. And here's some food for thought. More than 7 billion people across the internet worldwide. There are more mobile devices than people on the planet, yet only 1% of what could be connected in the world actually is. Now, that's room for growth, folks. I know I think y'all had slotted me for 40 minutes. Is that correct? So do I still have time? Heidi?
You've still got time. So we go for an hour, so we just try and leave a little time for people to ask questions.
Okay, perfect. And I just have a few more things. Another example. 6 years ago, one of our customers, Christy, she was a pharmaceutical rep. She had daydreamed of creating her own shoe company. Today, she's 27 years old. And how exciting. 27 years old. She's a Malaysian entrepreneur overseas. She has a shoe and apparel business, has a global brand. So what happened? It started with a social media post shortly after taking the pharmaceutical job in 2010. All she did was uploaded a handful of her shoe designs to Facebook. The response was swift and overwhelming. People wanted to buy her shoes, and that was the spark that she needed. She used her savings to launch an e-commerce site and recruited local artisans to create her products. So she individualized options for the mass. There were several factors that helped her drive the company's growth. E-commerce, it was critical. It allowed her to reach customers as far away as the U.S. Another significant element was the company's 3D shoe image. And it sounds unique. I mean, Nike's been doing it for years, but it allowed her customers to customize shoes, style, color, accessory options, and view the creation from all angles. And, you know, Nike, they've been doing that since 2012. She now has 12 full-time employees, including 7 shoe artisans. So that's just a great example of what willpower can do and e-commerce can do for you. We joined up with her. She's one of our many success stories. We provide her with packaging that worked for her specific industry, the fashion industry. She relies on FedEx International Economy service for less urgent shipments. And then she wants to expand. And so we helped her. And to end with her, well, I won't end yet, but she said when we started seeing people from other countries ordering from our website, we knew we were onto something. And it doesn't have to be from other countries. It could be just expanding it across the United States. All of us hear about Gen Ys. You know, those folks are born between 1980s and the year 2000. There's 77 million Gen Ys right now on the march to metro centers around the U.S. So what they're doing is they're moving from the burbs to the metro centers. And you know why? Because 46% of them, they're willing to pay higher prices for same-day delivery. They don't care. They're moving into urban populations, urban revitalization. They just want instant gratification. So for those of you in a more urban area, maybe Omaha, etc., maybe that might be some potential customers y'all could focus on. You know, we talk about instant gratification, and that's becoming the mainstay today with just about everything, and even us older individuals. I get annoyed when my internet takes, a minute to download something. I'm like, well, what happened? What happened? 5G is already in the planning stations. You know, everything now is like 3G and 4G cellular technology. 5G is up and coming, so then it's going to be even more important for all of you folks to have internet, because that's where we're going. Going back to my friend's grandson, Noah, who's, he just turned 6. He gets upset. And so this next generation is it's crazy, the speed that's coming up. Now, talking about 5G, to download an 8 gigabyte high definition movie using 5G takes 6 seconds, 4G takes 7 minutes, and 3G takes 60 minutes, just to give you a comparison. So we're on our way, folks, to more speed quicker. Which brings us to the most important question of the day. Who is your target audience? And are you willing to risk leaving the rest of that audience behind? Are you? So once you figure out your target audience, then you have to decide, am I going to be left behind? Or am I going to come into that 2016 with what I can afford, of course, if you're a smaller business. So at this point, I would like to answer some questions that had already been sent to me. And I hope those folks are on here. I'm sure they are. Michelle Witt from Double K Popcorn, are you here? Can you hear me?
We
Okay.
do record these, so she might have signed up just to get the recording.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and answer the questions then. Her question was, do you offer discounted shipping if we ship solely through you? Well, yes, we do. With any logistics company, the more you ship with us, the more discounts you get. As a sales executive, that's part of what I do. All of my pricings are customized pricing just for you. So what I do with each customer is, if needed, I mean, normally they've got pricings in place, but if you were a new customer, I would talk to you about, okay, tell me all about your business, what you're doing, how much revenue you think you do, what are you looking for, etc. And then I would go back and get with my pricing analyst and pull together a custom pricing package for you. So absolutely. And especially if you are shipping through us, we also have, if you say, well, I'm going to ship exclusively with you, there's other things we can do, providing printers. If you're, if you don't have any computer at all, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't really know, I can't afford it, or I need a new computer. There's things that I have to offer you that I can put in place that we can speak about offline. Incentives. We are the only logistics industry or company in the logistics industry that can start people off with a reward system called our My FedEx Rewards. That's like a frequent flyer miles for logistics, if you will. All you do the first time is sign up. Just like your frequent flyer miles, you don't have to constantly go in and check and do this. As long as you use us, you're accruing points, and then you can exchange that for or redeem that for gift cards to name brand establishments. So that's a little perk for you or your employees. Karen Pandor from Karen's Collectibles wants to know more about good ways to receive funds and shipping for local and international sales. I looked at her website. I looked at all these websites. Very interesting website, collectibles, furniture, etc. Good ways to receive funds. I wasn't quite sure. I assumed that maybe Karen does maybe some collect upon delivery, COD maybe. That's something that would be answered through your own business plan on receiving funds. Without more details, I couldn't answer that. Shipping for local and international sales, I mean, we have all of the FedEx products at your disposal. We have FedEx Trade Network, which will do by sea, FedEx Custom Critical, which is global ground, air. If you need temperature monitoring, they can do that too. FedEx Cross Border, Supply Chain, of course, Express, Ground, Freight, LTL. All of that is at your disposal. Gary Johnson from My Ear Jazz. No? Or did I hear someone? Okay. Gary's the question is, what is the best site to use for e-commerce? Well, you can Google that. There are a lot of websites. One is bigcommerce.com. That's just one among hundreds upon hundreds examples. But I thought what I would do with that question is just kind of give you 3 bullet points of what you need to look for. You need to look for storage space on these sites. Some site builders put a cap on sales or your bandwidth, so you need to choose one without limitations. The second thing would be choose a program that offers fraud protection and SSL, which is secure socket layer. I know all of you know what that is. It's when you're ordering and it has the little S at the end of HTTP up at the top, and we all look at that when we're doing our banking to make sure that, well, that S is there so no one can, hijack our information. So you want to make sure that, and that makes your consumer comfortable as well. to do business with you. And then thirdly, that your e-commerce solution should have a user-friendly interface. I will leave a website if it's hard or difficult as a consumer, or it takes a long time to load up. I will start my search over for a product if I think that was the best one, but then I get to the website and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So think about that. You could lose potential customers with just an unuser-friendly interface. What about Michelle Lapp from Out of the Box Photography? Is Michelle here? Okay. Great question. Would like to know if online is the right venue for her product. Well, I looked at her website. Awesome photography, but it's photography. So I thought that was a really great question. Is it the right venue for her product? Well, I think it could be. It depends on where she wants to take her product. And with more detail, I can't get in depth. But I thought it appeared to me on her website that she also sells her photographs to consumers, because it's not just wedding photography or graduation pictures, etc. It's other types of more creative photography from what I saw. So, yeah, I think in that regard, it would be a perfect platform for the product, and could expand on that because I moved into a new place. I was looking for some new artwork, and, there's one, I believe the name of it was iCampus, where you can create your own artwork and a myriad of other places. I checked out some photography places that had theirs for sale. So I think it's perfect for that, and we can also help with shipping with any of these. That was all of the questions that that had been sent to me. So I'll open it up now for anyone who has questions for me.
This is Norm. One of the main concerns I have, I make barbecue sauces, and they're heavy.
Okay.
And my products usually range anywhere between $5 and maybe $10 each. Well, sometimes the shipping cost would be half or as much as the product's cost is. So I would be interested in finding some kind of way that I could help trim down my shipping costs. And you said that you had a program that if we could team up together, you be the shipper and I be the provider, that we could you could save me money. That would be one thing I'm very interested in.
And that's a great question. And a lot of times when I will call, because I'll get new accounts, but they've been with us or other logistics company, sometimes they'll say, well, you're high. My question is, well, how do you know? I haven't talked with you because I do custom pricing. So you're right. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that I look at as a consumer. If the product's $20 and I'm having to pay $15, I'm not going to order from you. I can tell you that right now. I'm going to go somewhere else where I can get cheaper shipping.
Exactly.
So when you are shipping this, you say that your cost is almost the same. So it sounds like to me that you're just getting list rates.
It is.
That correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Great.
So then what I would challenge you to do and offer, you've got my email. You can email me with your phone number and everything.
Yeah. I'll either be emailing you or calling you.
Absolutely.
One of the two.
And has my Heidi or Katie, did y'all give them they've got my number and everything?
We're going to be emailing out after the training an email that has your email, your phone number, the recording, and a survey for everyone to take.
Oh, perfect. So, yeah, do that, and we can schedule a time to sit down and talk about that, because if you're getting list rates, why? And that goes to anyone. Why are you getting list rates? Did you also know, and this is for everyone out there, because I know some of you are silent out there today. I can still hear your silence, though. Did you know that no matter what logistics company you're with, you being a commercial entity, you can talk to your rep and say, hey, I'd like to review my pricing. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't do that. Which, you know, if you've got really good pricing, that's great. If you don't, why not? I do that for my customers all the time. I reevaluate their pricing, and we adjust it to give them better. Because here's a great example. I had a customer. We figured out his ground for lower rate packages under 2 pounds wasn't very good, but it was good for the heavier weight packages. So on the lower rate, we had this product that provided him not only with a better rate, but with the boxes. So that was an expense that he no longer had to incur. And it included some other benefits as well. So we get creative with our pricing, and that sounds like just what we need to sit down, for example, with you, Norm, and do with you and the other folks.
I would love to do that.
Perfect. What other questions do you guys have for me? No other questions?
Yes, I do. I was just being polite to see if there was anybody else. This is Colleen with CPAP Easy Clean. Now,
what was your name? I'm sorry.
Colleen with CPAP Easy Clean.
Okay.
Do you require the boxes that the products are in to be, I believe it's BCB stamped?
BCB?
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Well, like with the Home Shopping Network, I was told that our cardboard boxes had to have that stamp on it. It's also known as the UPS standards for shipping.
Oh, I understand. What you're asking is on boxes that you have, even boxes that you buy, there's a stamp on the box that gives a designation of the quality of the box. Is that what you're talking about?
Correct.
No. I've never heard anything about that. That's never came across. So no. Is there something unique about the boxes that you currently use, Colleen?
Well, because we make a medical product, we were told that we had to use those type of boxes for like Walgreens as well as the Home Shopping Network.
Maybe it sounds like for retail instead of shipping. Now, we have a box lab that if there's ever a problem, but that gets into like, let's say if you're shipping something that has liquids in it and your container is bursting, and you're like, but no, it's a strong container, then we can send it to our box lab and they will test it for absolutely no charge. But other than that, I don't see any reason why we would, and I've never heard that within the logistics industry, anything like that. No, I haven't heard of that, and that's my answer.
With FedEx. Yeah, there's no liquid in our product, but I know, like with a couple other people with Grow that have salad dressings and different things, honey and different things like that they do. But I just came across that here a few weeks ago with QVC as well as Walgreens. To be able to put it on their shelves, they require a certain type of box.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like from a retail standpoint, probably has something to do with customers or stocking the or something to do with that, not a shipping issue.
Oh, well, the way that they explained it to me was it was with the shipping industry as far as how much could actually be stacked on top of it. So say our product's going someplace and a bunch of other products are going someplace, how much poundage and stuff can actually be placed on that box before it would be damaged.
Now, are we talking about freight here, or just ground where it's 1-2 packages at a time that you're sending?
Just ground at this point.
Okay. No, ground would not have it, but there again, we're not, but when we do ground, we stack it in the trucks according to weight as well, and also, customers can put do not stack, things like that. Freight is a little bit different because it's palletized.
Right.
So you get into different things with that. So if your boxes, let's say something could not be stacked on them, you would just designate cannot be stacked, and we wouldn't stack anything on top of that. So it sounds like what that sounds like that you're talking about is in the store with their shipping.
From us to Florida, where our products are going to be shipped to, we're going to have to ship several boxes, as much as 1,000 at a time, was what we were told. And some of them will be on pallets as well. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's kind of both. I mean, right now we're just, 1 to 12 boxes to one person at a time. But once we go finish with this next round with our company, we'll be doing the pallets. And so to be able to get it to different places.
No, we would not have a problem with that. It does not have to be BCB, what you're asking. So, no. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Christopher. That was a lot of great information.
Well, thank you for having me. It was an honor to get to do this. And if anyone has any questions, then just contact me, and I'll be more than happy to reach out to you. And if I can't answer it, I will get someone else to. Yeah, I'll either get an answer or have someone else to contact you. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll be sending out an email here afterward with Christopher's phone number and email, along with a quick survey that it would be wonderful if you all take. And I'm going to give another quick shout out to our sponsors, especially FedEx. We're really thankful for you guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Does anybody have any more questions at all before we hop off the call?
No, I don't.
Well, Norm and everyone, it was a pleasure meeting you guys, and we appreciate each of you that are current customers with FedEx. And if you already have an account executive or a sales executive, I encourage you to reach out to those folks and review your pricing structure if that's of interest to you. Otherwise, I don't have anything else for you today, and I appreciate the time you've given me.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.